What's up? Welcome into your Buckeye Rush Hour for a Friday, last Friday of the month, May 24th, 2024. How's everybody doing? Getting started early on your Memorial weekend. Don't forget why we have a Memorial Day holiday. Just take a moment. Um, so, crack a beer, pour something on ice, whatever you want to do, and let's get into it. We're talking about Ohio State's top five opponents. We're ranking them 1 through 5. I had a tough time coming up with the fifth one, honestly. The schedule's pretty freaking flimsy, but the first three were no brainers. After that, got a little dicey, but we're gonna throw them at you. I want your comments, ladies and germs. Comments, questions, pop them in the chat, and we will get to all of them eventually today. I have not started drinking yet. I'm still on the water. Yeah. So we'll get to something in a little while, but please visit thebuckeyecast.com. Check out the shop. Check out the shirts, hats. Get yourself something for summer. You know, if you're getting a little thin up on top, get a hat to protect yourself. You need some shade, got to protect yourself from that sun. That sun is an evil son of a bitch. It's coming for all of us. And while you're in the shopping mood, you can also just buy stuff directly here below the video. Check out the shop on the YouTube channel. You can purchase most of our products there. We have much more over on the website, thebuckeyecast.com. And one more item to beat you over the head with. Please like and subscribe to the show. I would appreciate it. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to lay them out. We do have a question in the chat that I posed to get started. The Buckeyes are favored by 50.5 points, 50.5 against Akron in week 1 in the shoe. Do the Buckeyes cover? Simple question. Yes or no? Do the Buckeyes cover 50.5 week 1, game 1 against a low? Are they mediocre? I would say lower level Akron. I don't know, mid-level. I haven't dusted up on my Akron football. So simple answer, yes or no. Buckeyes cover 50.5. So 51 or 50. Anyways, let's get into it. Top 5 opponents for the Buckeyes in 2024. Number 1, this should be pretty obvious. Maybe not. I don't know. If you disagree, let me know in the chat. I would like to know who you think is the toughest. Let's go. Yeah, let's go start with 5. Let's count them down in reverse order. It's more exciting, right? And the show is nothing if not exciting. Right, Billy? All right, thank you. All right, so we're counting down 5 to 1. Number 5, Saturday, October 26th, the Nebraska Cornholers come to Columbus. Matt Rule building a solid program there. He's got the culture in place, still working on that a little bit, but he's got solid culture right now. And he's proud of how many few, they don't have many guys that jumped in the portal. That's what I'm trying to say. So they haven't lost a lot of dudes. That could also mean that they haven't had a lot of dudes to lose that other teams are interested in. So it could be a double-edged sword there. But looking at their returning production, they are 3rd in the country in returning production. 3rd. Yes, I said that. 77%. That is incredible and surprising, incredibly surprising. So returning production, that combines offense and defense. They are on offense 76%, defense 78%, obviously. But they have a bunch of unknowns going into 2024. Quarterback is a big one, kind of important, right? They've got a new quarterbacks coach, Glenn Thomas. Wasn't he an old singer from the 80s, pop singer, Glenn Thomas, maybe country? Anyways, this guy is not him. This Glenn Thomas has significant NFL experience. He coached Matt Ryan in Atlanta. So some respect there. But last year, the Cornhusker quarterback, Heinrich Harburg, yeah, Heinrich, too soon. He was a good runner with a strong arm, is what you could say nicely about him. But the accuracy was pathetic and a big problem. Now in the spring game this year, Raiola, Dominic Ravioli, as he's known on this show, looked mature, comfortable, and confident. But again, it's a practice, and he wasn't going to get hit. He knew that. But all right, let's say those are your top two quarterback options. Looks like Raiola could beat out Heinrich. But who are they going to throw to is a bigger question. They're a little short on playmakers. Most of the returning production at wide receiver from last year were true freshmen. And you got tight ends that they kind of flashed the tight ends quite a bit in the spring game. Thomas Fedone and Nate Borkircher, they are returning with a fair amount of production. And then out of the portal, though, they did get a receiver, Jamal Banks. He caught over 100 passes at Wake Forest for 1,200 yards. So he looks to be your number one wide receiver. The big issue with Nebraska last year was the turnover margin. They were nearly dead last in the country in turnover margin. And a lot of that goes back to the quarterback, Mr. Heinrich Harburger. So I don't know what to expect from these guys. They'll probably play some defense. See if the black shirts return. I would not expect that. That would be surprising, but we'll see. I don't know. I really could not find any positive information on their defense. They lost two of their highest tacklers, Luke Reamer and Nick Heinrich. Another Heinrich. What the fuck? But there's a bunch of linebackers to take their place. They also lost Quentin Newsom. So they're going to need some guys to step up. So I got Nebraska, my number 5. Number 4. All right. You might have been expecting this team to not even be in the top 5. You might have been surprised at Nebraska being in the top 5. Anyway, I got Saturday, October 5th, the Iowa Hawkeyes come to Columbus. They are 30th in the country in returning production with 69%, 80% on offense, 58% on defense. They got a new offensive coordinator, Tim Lester. You might have heard of Brian Ferentz, head coach's kid. Yeah, he's gone. Last year under Brian, we'll just call him Brian, the Hawkeyes ranked 132nd in college football in scoring. They averaged 15.4 points per game. 15, 1-5. And 130th in passing. They averaged 118.6 yards per game passing. Wow. Yikes. So there's nowhere to go but up, right? And Tim Lester is your guy. Never thought I would say those words. Somehow, Iowa did finish 10-4. We know it's because of the defense, right? As is every year. They played the cheaters for the Big Ten title. So your quarterback, Cade McNamara, he was limited this spring after tearing his ACL last October. The receiver room is thin. That's an issue, even with the transfer from Ohio State. But Phil Parker's defense is still going to be good. He does have 8 returning starters. So I got Iowa, team number 4. Number 3, Saturday, November 2nd, I got the Nits. I got the Penn State Nittany Lions, my third toughest opponent. They're returning 70% production. Oh, yeah, they were tied. Were they tied? No, they're 23rd, my bad. 70% production, 23rd in the country. I deleted a number there. 74% of their offensive production returning, 66% on defense coming back. So We know the Nits have had trouble putting up points, especially against the Cheaters and against us. Anytime they face a good defense, they're not lighting up the scoreboard. So James Franklin, he hired Kansas offensive coordinator Andy Kotelnicki. Sounds like I said that confidently. They want to boost that passing game, get Drew Aller comfortable, and just distributing the ball, right? They were ranked 80th in college football and with 215 yards per game last year. 80th. That's pathetic. Obviously, they're still high on Drew Aller. They think he can get the job done, but you also got running backs Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen. Those guys are, they've been around for a couple of years now. Tight end Tyler Warren. These are all good pieces to have around Drew Aller, but he needs to distribute the ball. And at receiver, again, another thin receiver room. Keandre Lambert-Smith transferred out, and 3 others. Then you brought in Julian Fleming, who I think we can all say probably should not have been starting for the Buckeyes last year. Probably should have been Carnell Tate. We've heard Denzel Burke say that. So, yeah. Anyways, so you got Julian Fleming coming in. You do have a Harrison Wallace III, Harry Three Sticks, we'll call him. I probably won't talk about him ever again. Then you got the slot receiver, Caden Saunders, the Ohio kid. These will be Drew Aller's go-to guys. That's it. On defense, you got transfers, Jalen Kimber from Florida and A.J. Harris from Georgia. He was a highly ranked recruit. They got to replace Kalen King and Johnny Dixon. So it seems like some good options to bring in to replace those corners. I just don't know if this entire defense is going to be as good as it was. So that gives me Penn State, your number 3 opponent, on the Buckeye schedule this year. Number 2, you guessed it, Saturday, November 30th, the Cheaters come to town. Now, this is interesting to me. I would not have guessed this until I looked at the numbers. 128th in the country is Michigan's returning production. 36% overall. 24% on offense, 47% on defense. Wow, that sounds bad. 36%, 128th in the country. So we know the Cheaters, they got to replace JJ at quarterback, most of the offensive line and more. Sharon Moore must settle on a starting quarterback. Alex Orji, he's a dual threat, we know. I'm not sure if that's true. If you've seen him throw, it looks like his feet are the real threat, not the arm. So maybe not so much a dual threat. You also got Jack Tuttle in for his 15th year of college football. So he's obviously more experienced. And you got Davis Warren, the freshman. He probably has the strongest arm. But so that's a three-headed monster that I would not like the look of if I was Sharon Moore. The Cheaters are going to rely heavily on tailback Donovan Edwards and tight ends Colson Loveland and Marlon Klein. I don't know who Marlon Klein is. Name was. You got left tackle Miles Hinton. He's the only returning starter from last year on the O-line. They did add a Northwestern transfer, Josh Preby. He was working at left guard this spring. Why is my wife texting me? She knows I'm doing a goddamn video. Shoot me. It's going to be a fun holiday weekend. Anyway, where were we? Oh, Cheaters. Yeah, Cheaters. Now, the defense does return 5 starters, including Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, the D tackles up front. Then you got All-American corner Will Johnson. They did bring in 4 transfer portal defensive backs. You got a cornerback, Amir Hall from Albany. He's going to compete for the other cornerback spot. And they got a couple safeties and shit. So that's my second toughest opponent. on the season, you could probably guess now who number one is. Number one toughest opponent in my top five is the Oregon Ducks, Saturday, October 12th at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. They're 28th in the country in returning production, 69%, nice, 68% on offense, 70% on defense. So Dan Lanning, he's got a 22-5 record, back-to-back bowl wins, putting together a very physical team on both sides of the ball. They brought in former Oklahoma quarterback Dylan Gabriel, also former UCF quarterback, should be noted. He's taken over for Bo Nix. You got the Texas A&M transfer, Evan Stewart and Tez Johnson at receiver. Evan Stewart was a former five-star. Tez Johnson had a huge year last year. I think he was over 1,000 yards. Jordan James is back at running back. He had 759 yards, 11 touchdowns last season while splitting time with Bucky Irving. Then on defense, they've got some transfer portal additions with safety Kobe Savage from K-State and cornerback Jabbar Muhammad from Washington. And this past defense is already good last year. They allowed 215.9 yards per game. And they are favored against the Buckeyes by 1 point at home. Buckeyes are a dog. And yes, you should put money on the Buckeyes now. That is my pick to click. So that's my list. Number 1, Oregon. Number 2, the Cheaters. Number 3, Penn State. Number 4, Iowa. Number 5, Nebraska. So let's pop in the chat and see what's really happening. And I want to see if you guys agree or disagree, or if you got somebody else completely off the board that I don't. So let's get in there and see what's happening. Stir it up. 1 second, I got to drink some water. All right. So we got our question in the chat. Will the Buckeyes cover the 50.5 spread against Akron? All right. First in says Billy. Billy says, hey, Joe, we'll be working out the kinks in the offense. I bet we don't cover. Okay. Expecting maybe got to smooth out some things, get comfortable. I could see that. It is aggressive. 50 points is aggressive. Sage, Ohio. Hello, Buckeyes. Hello, Sage. Odysseus says, OH and a bunch of nuts. IOTU. Sage says, watching birds in the backyard on the swinging chair. Oh, nice. That sounds fun. What kind of birds do you have in your neck of the woods? Right now, we have a lot of crows and some other smaller black birds. I don't know what the hell they are. Ravens? Raven? That seems weird. But anyway, I like osprey. We have a lot of osprey and herons here, gray herons. Anyway, that's bird talk. Odysseus says, yes, the Buckeyes cover 77-0. Already coming out with the heavy hammer on the Zips. The Zips get zipped. Love it. Okay. Sage says, yes, they cover. Sage says, first road game and at Michigan State will beat rest of the team. Oh, yeah. Okay. I got you. Well, okay. I think I understand it. Odysseus says, I stopped falling for Nebby preseason hype. Too many wrong predictions during Frost era. Yeah. Everybody's got a little PTSD. Fuck. MOUSE. Yes, from the Frost era, it was a bit frosty in Nebraska year round. Sage says Iowa could be a trap game, but not at home the week before Oregon. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking with a couple of those, really, is where they landed on the schedule. You got Michigan State, then Iowa, then you got to go to Oregon. So, yeah, a little bit of a trap. Then you got a week off, and you got Nebraska. Then you have to go to Penn State. So, I don't know, maybe you come in a little sleepy for a nooner against Nebraska. That's possible. and you're looking forward to the next game at Penn State. That's a possibility too. Back to the chat here. Odysseus says Brian Ferentz now working with Josh Gaddis under Mike Loxley. That's funny. Yeah, is Ferentz like an analyst or something? Probably. Yeah, that's not going to end well. Going down with a sinking ship there. Billy says Iowa still won't have a good offense. No, they will not. They won't. Will they crack 20 points per game is my question. Will they maybe just increase that average by a field goal, maybe 18 points a game? Imagine the world we would live in when Iowa scores 18 points a game. Cats and dogs living together. Odysseus says Penn State on the road could be a whiteout. I'd have them second toughest after Oregon. Could be. Yeah, it could be. I'm not convinced of their offense either, honestly. And their defense will be good, not great. They're replacing their starting corners from last year, but that offense, Drew Aller still does not look good. Say what you want about the wind in the spring game. I watched that. He still is. I mean, he has nobody to throw to, man. Julian Fleming. Cade Saunders is good. Caden Saunders. But yeah, I don't think Penn State's offense is going to be anything to worry about. Sage says Penn State will only have an edge if night game, but we will still win those. I agree. Yeah, I expect a whiteout there. Oregon's going to do a blackout, and it will probably be a night game. Obviously, it's on the West Coast, so it's going to be 3 hours later than typical East Coast game. They're not going to play it at noon West Coast time. So most likely anyway. Billy says, I wonder if the disturbing allegations against Franklin will have an impact this season. I don't think so. I don't think it's really disturbing. It sounds like he really just was trying to keep the kid on a medical scholarship instead of completely removing the kid from scholarship. He was trying to keep the kid on medical. That way it would open up a full scholarship so they could add another player. It's really just roster management shit. He wasn't really affecting the kids, playing time or like, we got to get this kid in there. He wasn't like trying to intimidate the doctors or, stuff like that. It's really just about giving the kid a medical scholarship, moving him off the full-time football scholarship so it freed up another roster spot. That's it. I don't think it's a big deal at all. I think people try and make a big deal with splashy headlines. Odysseus says, yeah, Billy, you never know. This could be the Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern over last summer. I don't know. I don't think it's that serious. And it's freaking May. Something else to talk about. Tyler, what's up, Tyler? Good to see you. Good evening. Good evening, Tyler. Billy says, wouldn't be surprised, Odysseus. Odysseus says, yeah, but Joe, don't you know the cheaters just reload with toughness and uber development culture? Yeah, I forgot about that. My bad. Yeah, I know the cheaters will reload. I hope they take offense to being, what I have, second on my list? Yeah. I hope they take offense to not being first on my list. Any cheater fans want to pop in the chat? I'd be happy to read your terrible messages and ban you. Tyler says, Joe, I have a question. Do you think Sharon Moore would cry if he lost to us on November 30th? He might. Still got a chance to hang 100 on him. Could do it this year. That might make him cry. Or 50. I'll take 50. 50 or 100. I would love to see that. Start a new rivalry, new border skirmish. We need that. Juck on Bucks. What's up, Juck? Good to see you. Juck says, what's going on, fellas? Billy says, I drove by Autzen Stadium every day for months when I lived in Eugene. Never made it in. Yeah, it's supposed to be one of the loudest in the country, right? That's what everybody says. Tyler says, Juck. Juck says, hey, Tyler, Dave. Billy says, what up, Juck? Odysseus says, hey, Juck. Juck. Juck says, I'm with Billy. No cover week 1. Okay. So we got 2 no covers. I think we got 4 covers. Because mine counts. Tyler says, and Joe, did you hear about the book that Harbaugh is making in reference to Ward Manual? Yeah. Yeah, this is obviously written for the fans. They want the fans to yeah, it's such a bullshit book. He wants the fans to think that he wanted to come back, right? Yeah, Harbaugh wanted to come back. It was Ward Manual that pushed him out. He didn't feel welcome. Ward Manual would not be his advocate, would not uh, work for him, help him out, get him the things he needed. Horse shit. Biggest load of shit in a book I've ever seen. So yeah. Yeah, I saw that, Tyler. It's just a piece for Michigan fans that are, Harbaugh suckers, you know, Harbaugh groupies. What a freaking joke, though. Yeah, Odysseus Hairball claims to be a victim. Exactly. Yeah. Poor Hairball. He's just been trying to get out of Michigan for what, 4 years now? He's been interviewing for jobs. He finally landed one. Poor guy. What a freaking douche. Billy says he's just a freaking weird dude. Exactly. That's another way to put it. Odysseus says we should wear the all whites versus Oregon. Yeah. If they're going all black, yeah, we should go all whites. That's my favorite uniform, anyways. The cocaine whites. Braxton. Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm with that. They had a social media video on Twitter the other day, put out by Ohio State's media team. And most of the players, the consensus was they asked, I don't know, 15, 20 dudes on the team right now what their favorite uniform combination was. And overwhelming, it was the all blacks with the red numbers. Respectfully, I freaking disagree big time. The all blacks were one of the worst ones, in my opinion. The grays were okay. Again, I go all whites all day. You can't go wrong. Morning, afternoon, night, any time of day, the all whites work. They pop off the screen, especially with the big red numbers. Yeah, all whites. It also helps that we beat Michigan in those in their house with Braxton. Juck says, I feel bad for Aller. He's a good kid. I'm rooting for him and Julian, but I don't have high expectations. Yeah, I mean, you do feel bad, he kind of got put into a shitty situation with the offensive coordinator and shit, Irsich, who we fired, of course. He's just not a good offensive coordinator. That guy should go back to coaching high school ball or something. I don't know. Maybe lower levels, FCS. I don't know. I don't want I don't know. But he's not a good quarterback developer either. So can this new guy develop Aller? That's the question. I like to see Fleming do well too, but again, I don't think he should have been starting last year for the Buckeyes. His production says so. So back to the chat. Billy says Penn State has a new OC. That could help. Yeah, I know. It can't be worse, right? They were what I say, 80th in the country passing, something like that. I don't know. That seems bad. You got to get better than that. I mean, Odysseus says Ward and Hairball should settle their dispute with a Hell in the Cell. That'd be good. I don't think it'd be much of a fight, though. Hairball's never going to quit. And Jabba the Manual is just going to lay on him, or just play dead, lay on, get tired walking around chasing hairball and just lay on the ground, play dead. Try and steamroll his ass or something. I don't know. Billy says Jimmy H has a persecution complex. Yeah. Yeah. It's him against the world, right? Hardball against the world. Is he still trying to fight his brother? He's like, I've heard John Harbaugh say that, like on family vacations, that Jim still fucks with him, like tries to wrestle him and shit. How old are you, dude? He's like, Hairball's almost like 60, right? What the hell up? Sage says, I'm hoping by week 6 at Oregon and week 8 at Penn State, this offense has its identity and is cruising. That is the goal. If it takes you more than 6 weeks to get your offensive identity together, you're in for a long freaking season, Buckeyes. I'm going to be hating life. They got to have their offense together by like week 4, that Iowa game, whatever week, what I say that was, week 4, 5. Yeah, week 5. Yeah, you got to have that Iowa game. Let's see what that offense looks like against a good defense. I'm not going to say great defense, good defense. Definitely a good schemed up, DC with Parker, and they're returning what I say, five starters on defense. So, back to the chat here. Odysseus says the 2-back set with Will Howard as a running threat combined with our receivers should be tough to stop. I agree with that. I think the entire offense should be tough to stop. You have an experienced quarterback who can move around the pocket and can be a running threat when needed. Doesn't need to run the ball 10 times a game to be a running threat. He can be a threat when there's nothing there and there's an opening, and you just take off, go get 5, 6, 7, 8 yards, get down or get out of bounds so you don't get hit. Boom, you're good. And just be a distributor of the ball. Again, McCord had decent numbers last year, and Will Howard's were similar, but when you get to the rushing stats, that's where it's night and day different. It's apples and bowling balls. Yeah, this running offense is going to be really strong. You got 2 of the best backs in the country back there. I say you get them in there with the 2-back set and Will Howard and see what happens. You got Chip Kelly calling the freaking plays. He can make a running game at UCLA with those garbage players. I think he'll be okay at Ohio State running the ball. The offensive line is a year older. It's got to get better. Juck says, bro, they love the black. I hate them. They may look better without the black helmet. I'd like to see that. Yeah, I would be interested in seeing that. Like, go with the silver helmet or maybe a chrome helmet, if you want to get nuts. But yeah, the All Blacks are not where it's at, in my opinion. I agree. And they can't do the throwbacks. I don't want to see any more throwback uniforms. Those are probably the worst. There was never a good throwback, really, unless you want to go back to recent times, like 02. Those championship unis, gray on the sleeves, should be noted. I do miss the silver pants. Can we get the silver pants back? I love the silver pants. Now they're just boring ass gray. But Billy says, what's the over-under on how many points per game our D lets up this year? Okay. Well, I don't know, but I can tell you how many points we allowed last year, and you can go from there. Let's go scoring, defense, points per game. Buckeyes were second in the country, 11.6. I should have that burned in my brain from recent shows, but yeah. The Cheaters were 10.4, number 1. Buckeyes were number 2, 11.6. Penn State was 14, quite a jump there from 11.6 to 14. Iowa 14.8. And yeah, they play a little defense in the Big Ten, in case you didn't know. So let's set the over under at 11.6. Let's set it at an even 11. All right, let's go even 11. Hit me in the chat. Tell me over or under 11. I don't know. Is this defense as good as Michigan's last year? Is this a on the level with the cheater defense of 2023? That defense is pretty freaking good, man. I don't like to give them any flowers or any recognition whatsoever, but they were pretty freaking good. Yards per game, number one in the country, 247. I don't know. We do have a garbage schedule. That helps, other than a couple games. So let me know what you guys think. Over or under 11 points per game on D. Billy is paying the winners. Sage says traditional uniforms, but hey, I'm old. Hey, we all are. We're all old, man. Yeah, I like the traditionals with the gray on the sleeves, of course. To answer Billy's question, I'm going under the 11. I could be talked into 10 if you really gave me some good juice. Got some good juice, Billy? Billy says Crazy Jim versus Psych Ward Manual. There you go. Nice. Badass Buckeye. What's up, Bab? We can beat Akron 45-10. Okay, so not covering the 50.5. Interesting. Odysseus says, imagine the hairball Thanksgiving's Joe. Yeah, I would not want any part of that. I do not want to be around. I could not be in, like, how annoying Jim Harbaugh is at a family get together. John seems pretty normal. You know, I hate that he's a Harbaugh, obviously, but John seems relatively normal. Like he talks normal. He's not all crazy and, you know, just have the crazy eyes. I don't think he raises chickens or anything, but Jim, something's wrong with that dude, man. I'm telling you. So Odysseus says, absolute circus, I bet. Yep, exactly. Troy, what's up, Troy? He says, hey there, Michigan men. It's their birthright to wrestle in their tidy whities. Yeah. Or khakis. Khakis and tidy whities underneath. That makes sense. The khakis for sure for our ball. Odysseus says they probably wrestle on the dining room table at Thanksgiving. Nice. Yeah. Save the neck for me, Clark. Troy says Elmo, just like George and his dad in Seinfeld. Exactly. Feats of strength. Juck says, I'm with you, Sage, but I want our gray sleeves. Give us those and no need for any other alternative. Best uniforms in football history. I agree. Yeah. Silver hat, red jersey. Give me silver pants all day. I'll take it. Troy says, call me old fashioned. That's my favorite drink, an old fashioned. I love the white or the scarlet and grays. Yeah, the white road uniforms are not bad. I mean, they're pretty solid too, you know. So, again, the 2002 championship uniforms, those are the whites with gray on the sleeves, silver pants. But I'm with you, Troy. Yeah, I think we could all settle on that. Juck says, yes, shiny silver pants with the thicker black stripe are beautiful. Yep, exactly. Why? Why Nike? Come on. Always screwing us. Goddamn Nike. Billy says UNLV has a scarlet jersey and gray pants combo that I like. Okay. Let me see if I can pull that up right quick. I live in the South, so I got to say right quick. Jersey. Who makes theirs? Is it a Nike jersey? They got a few options here. save this. Yeah, they've got like 3 different colored uniforms. Let me open this up so you guys can see. This is UNLV. Share this if you're watching on the YouTubes. Boom. So yeah. Let me go back to the chat here so I can read. Billy said the scarlet jersey and gray pants combo. I'm not seeing that. But I can imagine it. Take the scarlet jersey on the left with the pants on the right. Yeah, that could be all right. Got a red belt there. Yeah, I could be talked into that. But I would definitely want the gray helmet right there. So take that jersey, these pants, that helmet. Yeah, I like that. Back to the chat here. As we wind it down, we'll try and go to 5:30 if you guys want to hit me with any questions or comments. Backing up. Tyler says under 11 points per game. I'm with you there. Odysseus says the goal should be to be like Georgia defense of 21. Yeah, those are lofty expectations, man. I don't know if we can get that good, but yeah, if we get under 11 points a game, which is very doable with this schedule, and I don't see Oregon putting up a ton of points. The cheaters aren't going to put up a ton of points. They're not going to score 30, neither one of those teams. So I think we can bring that average down well under 11 to 10, just because of the schedule. Billy says we break 10 points per game. All right. That's aggressive. I'll take it though. Tyler says cocaine whites need to be brought to the Oregon game. Yeah. I think we're all on board for that. That'd be good. Yeah, all white for sure. But you can't do it all the time, right? You got to like pick and choose your moments when you're gonna bring those out. You can't. I guess you could do it once a year, but that's still too often for me. Just special occasion games. Juck says, I like the all white. That's about as daring as I get. Yeah, I'm with you. Oh, Billy said none of those jerseys. Sorry, Billy. I was trying to be nimble and fast. Oh, here's one. Okay, here's one. This is probably what you're thinking of. So this is more of a red jersey. Open that. Yeah, I can get down with that. Here, let me share that. So yeah, you got a gray helmet, red jersey with gray numbers. Nike doesn't make their shit. Okay, that's interesting. And then you got the gray pants. So yeah, that's not bad. Again, I'm a silver pants kind of guy. If you're going with a silver hat, let's match it up with the silver pants. But this isn't terrible. Yeah. It looks for some of what does that remind you of Georgia kind of? Maybe it's the red and the gray. So they wear gray pants. Anyways, let's keep it moving here. As we wind them down, Troy says the white really brings out the blood, mud, or grass stains. Love that part. That's a good point. Yeah. I do like to see some blood on my jerseys for sure. Oh, Troy says, is it me or do those look like practice jerseys? They do kind of look like practice jerseys a little bit. Okay, Billy, we landed the plane there. That's what you were thinking. Good. It's not bad. Um, I like Ohio State's more traditional numbers, you know. So yeah. Oh, okay. Juck has an interesting question here. In or out predictions on McNutt, Justin Hill, Trey McNutt, Justin Hill, and Bo Jackson. I got out on McNutt, in for Hill and Bo Jackson. I know that there's stories about Georgia making headway with Bo Jackson, but I think we land him. It does matter, I think, though, when Jordan Davison commits. If Davison commits, like, say, anytime before Bo Jackson, I think that might affect Bo Jackson's decision. But Georgia was always going to be a real contender in that recruitment, you know. Same with Alabama for Davison. They were always, right there, and Oregon. So I think the timing of when these recruits commit affects the other guys at that position that are out there. Same at receiver. These those recruiting insiders, across the country that talk a lot of shit, don't seem to know much, but they say when it comes to Ohio State's wide receiver room that all the recruits are just waiting to see who jumps in first, and then they'll make their decision based off that. You know, do they jump in with, or do they consider somewhere else? So uh, yeah, I don't feel good about Trey McNutt. He seems like he doesn't really care about being a Buckeye. It doesn't really seem to be a priority to him, and I'm fine with a kid taking all the visits he can. I mean, he's taken like 30 plus visits across the country, coast to coast, corner to corner. So go ahead, take all your visits, enjoy the process, all the free meals you can get. And don't forget that these kids are getting paid to make these visits most of the time, especially 5-star guys, Trey McNutt being a 5-star. So, and, I just learned from that Mark Fletcher interview the other day that these 7-on-7 competitions and camps, kids are getting paid to show up to those. Did not know that was a thing. Apparently it's not against the law. So I guess it depends on what state you're in. But anyways, yeah, I'm not feeling good about Trey McNutt right now. Yeah, we'll see. Then you got Justin Hill. I really would like to get him. It's tough to sell him on the jack position when we don't use the jack position. And the last time we did, it did not go so well for jack at the jack position. Um, I still am waiting for somebody to arrest Jim Knowles for that malpractice, putting Jack Sawyer in that position a couple of years ago. I was calling for an arrest warrant on that, but should be charged with a crime. And then Bo Jackson. I don't know how you don't go to Ohio State from Cleveland. Although Marquise Davis is going to Kentucky. So whatever. Odysseus says, in for Bo Jackson, in for Justin Hill, out Trey McNutt. Yeah, that's pretty much what I said. Billy says, we need Hill. If we get Delane, I don't care about McNutt. Well, yeah, that's the other flip side of it. We're going to need a couple more safeties, not just one more. You got Messiah Delhomme, got Fahim Delane. So, yeah, we're going to need. Second. Yeah, we're going to need more than just 2 safeties in this class. We're going to be losing some dudes. Where's my list from yesterday? Yeah. So you got Deshaun Stewart in the class, Fahim Delane, 5-star. You got Jonah Williams out of Texas, probably not looking like a Buckeye. He's got 2 crystal balls to Oklahoma and Messiah Delhomme. You got Cody Haddad. So that's 2 safeties in the class. They would need up to 4, honestly. So you're losing Ransom. Where's my scholarship grid? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. You brought in Nelson from South Carolina as a depth piece right now. Malik Hartford, we don't know what we got out of him. He did play a little bit last year. Didn't look so good against the Cheaters. Caleb Downs, just 1 more year. So 2025 will be his last season. You bring in some guys in that 25 class because Downs is going to the NFL the following year. So you got to get some guys in there. We don't know what to expect from Leroy Roker. He's a lower level, lower rated, played in smaller school down in Fort Myers. Jalen McClain looked good in the spring game. Ansu looked real good, but how do these guys factor in? And can you get them reps this year to get them experience so you know what you have from that safety position going into the year? Get them some live bullets, some live reps that'll help determine what we have. Billy says, I think Brew is in. Okay, I'm in with Brew. That's a tough one, man. You got LSU and Texas. They seem to be pulling pretty hard at him. That's a tough one. You got Corey Raymond. He's back at LSU coaching the secondary, I do believe. He's a hell of a recruiter. I'd be really concerned about Brew. I don't feel so good about that one. Juck says, I think we're all on the same page with McNutt. Yeah. I don't think anybody's feeling good about him, man. Billy says, not a bad weekend payday. Yeah, with the 7-on-7s. Yeah. If you're a 5-star dude like a Jamie French, you're probably getting $5K to go play 7-on-7 ball. Thanks. I'll take that. Fuck yeah. Why wait to the NFL to get paid to play? Timothy says, who is the starting quarterback for the Buckeyes? I think we're all in agreement that it's Will Howard. If somebody disagrees, please hit me up in the chat. I would love to hear other opinions. Hey, folks, while you're in there, please hit the like button. We've got just a few likes so far. Yeah, Timothy, I think we're all in agreement that Will Howard's the quarterback. I don't think there's a lot of debate there. When Ryan Day decides to name him is the real question. I think you got to name him 2 weeks into fall camp, so you got a couple weeks with him as the starter to get those snaps. Billy says Haddad is going to be a stud. Yeah, he's got NFL bloodlines. He's got multiple dudes in his family that played NFL ball. Does he have a brother or a cousin that's in the league right now, I think? So, yeah. Haddad's going to be good. You're going to see his ratings jump. He missed all but 4 games last year of his season with the broken arm. So that's why he's lower rated. Yeah, he's a good one. Sage says Jeremiah Smith is going to set the Big Ten on fire. Yeah, I agree. Yep. It's going to be nuts. It is going to be nuts. I can't wait. Billy says $64,000 question is the starting quarterback question. I will answer it if you give me $64,000, Billy. I'll say any name you like. Joe Namath. He's the quarterback. $64K in my bank account. Anyway, Troy says, I understand the current climate, but I don't like it. Something about committing and taking visits still doesn't sit well. The commitment seems worthless at times. Yeah, exactly. It is. Even if the kids are doing it for the money, it still is not cool. I mean, at some point, does your word mean anything? That's the question, in my opinion. Seems like it doesn't at times, but I understand, and I'm with you there, Troy. Sage says it's Howard's until he can't do it the day way. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. It's Howard's job. Juck says Delone, Haddad, and Stewart would be a fantastic safety class. Delane is getting a huge offer from Oregon. Yeah, not surprised. I mean, I was I was thinking about those crystal balls that came in back in what, January, February for Delane, and everybody was on like commit watch for him, but never happened. Now, he's sitting up other schools, visiting and stuff like that. And Oregon, Oregon is becoming a major pain in the freaking ass for the Buckeyes. They are targeting everybody we are targeting. Everybody, which I understand they're going after the best of the best, but um, it just looks like they're copying our recruiting board. I'm going to see. I was thinking about this earlier. I want to see how many offers they've put out compared to us, because we always talk about how the cheaters put out 300 plus offers, right? Yeah, Oregon is up there, 265 for this 2025 class. That's approaching cheater territory. I think we were at like 160, so like 100 less. Let me double check that number. So we had some more offers go out. 169, like my license plate, NE1 4A69. So anyway, yeah, Oregon, you kind of understand it. They need to splash the pot, and try and throw offers across the country, because they're up there in the middle of nowhere, and they got unlimited funds with the Nike money. So you understand why they're just throwing offers coast to coast. You get it. So yeah, I'm not surprised that they have almost 300 offers. Billy says commitments aren't what they used to be, Troy. Yeah, fair point. Billy says give Delane a restaurant, Juck. Right. Chuck says I talked to that scout today who caused the kerfuffle over offered. Yeah, I'd like to know what that was all about. People are just making shit up. What is par for the course? That's what social media does. It's what all these recruiting services do. It seems like they've always got some writers on their staff that just throw shit against the wall, see what sticks, and maybe a kid ends up, decommitting off of a freaking article that somebody made up, completely fabricated. Juck says I'll give him a free breakfast. All right, I'll take a free breakfast. Timothy says I agree. I believe on the Will Howard quarterback question. Juck says they give Lanning a blank checkbook for player acquisition to keep him. They will not lose a financial battle. I hate NIL. Well, good news, Juck. NIL's not going to be a big deal anymore. It'll still exist. It'll probably come in under the athletic department for every college, but it'll just be an add-on to the salary the players are going to get. So there's that win-win. But they probably will get still have the benefit of the bigger NIL packages to add on to that player salary, I guess. Odysseus says beating them twice this year will go a ways in beating the Ducks for recruits. Yes, that will help. Unfortunately, though, there probably will be a bunch that commit to Oregon before we play them twice. But yeah, I agree. I think we do play them twice this year, for sure. Big Ten championship game. Billy says, and Oregon got that Nike money, they're going to be a constant problem. Exactly. Yep. Thank God nobody else in the Big Ten has that kind of money. Jesus. USC doesn't. Washington doesn't. UCLA doesn't. The cheaters don't. Penn State doesn't. So it's us in Oregon, really. Troy says part of me wants to play that damn team up north twice this year so we can start their journey to being irrelevant again in style. Oh, I would have no problem with that, but yeah, I think Oregon's going to have something to say about that. Billy says offered response was priceless to that Scouts tweet. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That was a good response. You got to call out the bullshit. When something's not real, you got to call them out, man. For sure. Especially if you're the recruit in question, you know. I wouldn't have my name dragged through the mud like that. But all right, folks. Hope you have a good holiday weekend. Don't forget the reason for the holiday. And I will be drinking some bourbon. So I will be thinking of you. Hopefully you'll be thinking of me. Juck's got one more comment here under the wire. He says he didn't respond to the scout, though he responded to JR, who paraphrased the scout and then Alfred's mom got on JR. Oh, okay. That's how it played out. I checked out of that. Yeah. All right. Appreciate everybody joining me. Please make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button. And we're going to be off Sunday night. One more week. We will be back next week. And we'll get Jeff and Sean back in here and we'll talk some crazy stuff, see what's happening, what's new in the world and shit like that. So appreciate you guys. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.